We're live.
We are.
We've got 28 seconds until we call the meeting to order.
Yep.
Yeah. Everybody's ready? Let's go ahead and just call the meeting to order, and we'll begin with pledge and an invocation.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Almighty God, as we gather, we thank you for the summer, and we thank you for the opportunities that are coming up next week for all the staff members and as we begin again with the students. And we ask for blessings for all of these, for the staff members and the students, that it'll be a good year, a safe year, a year when lots of goals are met and exceeded with joy. Amen. And I don't believe we have any public comment, but we do have some student recognition.
Yes, JP, if you pull that up.
All right, give me just 1 second here and we'll find that.
So the 4-Hers, and that's pretty light, and I don't have the card, but it says, thank you for supporting our 2024 4-H camp and donating money for us, which what we donated was buses for them to use. So, and then if you pull down the other, that's students over at North Fork, and they are thanking us. If you click on the other piece there, they've signed that back. They thank you for the books and that we purchased for North Fork's library.
That's nice.
It was nice that they had them to write the thank you card.
I do appreciate that. Any staff recognition?
No.
Under minutes for July 2nd and 23rd, we have those. Are there any corrections or objections to the minutes that you've received? Or do we have a motion to accept them?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion on that? Then all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Now we get down to the employment of personnel. And
resignations and retirements. Holly Hartman, resignation bus driver. Jessica Pitzenbarger, resignation long-term substitute, 3rd grade teacher at North Fork Elementary School. Megan Light, resignation secretary at Pendleton County Middle High School. April Depew, resignation itinerant nurse at Franklin Elementary School. Jennifer Cook, resignation math teacher at Pendleton County Middle High School.
You have my recommendation to accept the resignations and retirements as presented.
our superintendent's recommending that we approve the resignations as presented. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? Any discussion? Then all in favor of approving the resignations, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Okay.
Employment of personnel. Lindsay Hauk, itinerant special education teacher at Brandywine Elementary School. Crystal Seeley at Pendleton County Middle High School, only long-term substitute, itinerant special education. Hillary Fox, administration of medicine at Brandywine Elementary School. Wes Fletcher, extracurricular bus driver, the South Branch Career and Technical Center run. Haley Basajic, extracurricular middle school cheerleading coach at Pendleton County Middle High School. Stephanie Kimball, substitute teacher. Jolynn Mitchell, substitute teacher. Jennifer Cook, substitute teacher. Mary Sawyers, substitute aide. Sierra Bram, substitute secretary.
And you have my recommendation for employment of personnel as presented.
Our superintendent has recommended employing the personnel as presented. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussions or any questions?
I just had the one up there on Crystal Sealing. That's just going to be high school?
That's the high school, it's just half-time. We would continue to post
Okay.
the other half-time.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Catch that this morning.
Can I ask a question? You had the resignation of Jennifer Cook, and now she's a substitute. How did that come about?
She resigned her position and requested to be placed on the substitute.
She requested to be placed on the
Verbally
substitute.
requested, yeah, to be placed on
Okay.
there. Mhm.
Any other questions, anything else? Then all in favor of employing the personnel as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. Approval of contracts.
Purchase of planning periods. Courtney Kimball, Special Education Case Management. Crystal Huffman-Warner, Special Education Case Management. Amanda Rader, Special Education Case Management. Matt Vance, Special Education Case Management. Allison Vinsel, Office Support, Weavis. Taylor Basajic, Medical Communication Support. Dave Eason, Lunch Detention, Weavis. Janice Hebner, High School Student Support Coordinator. Jeremy I, Middle School Student Support Coordinator. Rachel Mitchell, Lunch Detention, 1 semester only. Tracy Wrightsell, Student Success Coordinator. Sandra Simmons, Library Manager. And then Professional Contracted Services, Pendleton Manor Physical Therapy Services.
You have my recommendation for the approval of purchase of planning periods as presented and for the professional contracted services with Pendleton Manor for the physical therapy services.
The superintendent has recommended that we approve these contracts, including the purchase of the planning periods and the professional contracted services. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? There are none, and all in favor of approving the contracts, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. And that finishes it up under the personnel. And we move down to finance.
All right, so switching gears to finance, I do have bills for approval. Some invoices were dated in June, paid in July, so those are included for the June report. And then we have the July report as well. So I'm going to start off with 6A, bills for approval in June of 2024. And I will pull these up. I've made some comments as usual to be noted. So total bills for the month were $1,213,954.44. So $1,213,954.44. It includes regular checks and electronic. A couple of the highlights that I'm pulling up on the PDF. Advantage Technology, which is network management off of state contract. It helps Eric and now James manage all of our wireless connections, all of our schools, all of our locations. So that comes out of our technology funding from the state. So $17,560 for network management off of state contract. The next item, page 3 of the PDF. Appalachian Signals and Products, that was, or known as ASAP. That's the company that works with us on our locks and our access controls. That was adding in access control to the alternate ed building. So that's bringing that up to be able to communicate back and forth with the Pendleton County Middle High School and our centralized system that we have now. That was just installed with the grant that we received. The next item is STEM funding, STEM. Science, technology, engineering, and math. Some places it's now called STEAM. That's where we, as Pendleton County Schools, receive $66,250. It goes to us. We turn around and write a check to Experience Learning, and they use it for teacher training, for activities with students. But it is a line item in the legislature, in the budget, put there specifically. It's been there for over 10 years. It comes to us. It's located in our county. We turn around and write a check to them. So it's just money in and money out for that one. Highway repairs, just goes to show again that we get reimbursed. Highway motors, 95%. That was bus 7711, over 12,000 repairs for a couple items there. So that does get reimbursed 95%. iTeach, which is a program we have used for teachers with alternative certification in the past and our teachers who need to work on certain items. We have been paying for that as a Board of Education, so $3,050 for iTeach. The next one I made a note on office products over in Harrisonburg, Virginia, near the fairgrounds. They have a lot of good used furniture that's basically brand new. So with some persons moving around and looking at refurbishing offices and everything, we were able to make some very good deals there for quite a few purchases at office products. There were some for the middle high school, some for North Fork Elementary, and quite a few items over at Office Products. They will occasionally have new furniture. It's mostly reconditioned, used furniture, and it's a very good place to purchase some from if you don't need brand new furniture. The next item, food permits. Pelham County Health Department, just one of those fees that we have to pay. There's different ones for certifications of different kinds. Food permits for all 4 locations, so $2,100. Food permits, pointing that one out. Go Guardian, the next one for highlighting. It is for Chromebooks, it allows all Chromebooks to be monitored, to be kept up with, to be inventory. It allows Eric, who primarily works with Chromebooks, to keep track, to put out updates, and so it's very important for us and helps keep track of what people are accessing on the Chromebooks. So Go Guardian is a renewal there. It comes out of technology funding as well, $15,083.50. The final one, I believe, that I have noted or close to it, the transaction was on 6/13/24, the purchase of the land, the Bowers & Bowers with K&K Raymond, $67,875.13, included all fees in the purchase of the land. That was there. It was a wire transfer, but this shows how it goes through our system to pay for that. So that's all the items I have to note. So total payments for the month of June, $1,213,954.40.
You have my recommendation for approval of payment of bills for June 2024.
Our superintendent's recommended that we pay the $1,213,954.44 in bills for June. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or any questions? Then all in favor of approval of paying the June bills, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes.
All right, so we're still working on some reconciling item, wrapping up year-end, which is due to the state by the end of September. So I don't have a final treasurer's report, but I will at an upcoming meeting for June and July. We will have those. I'm going to go to item C now, bills for approval, July of 2024. So generally speaking, we just spent over $1 million for June. It's a lighter month for a variety of reasons in July. So total for July by comparison, $352,631.78. $352,631.78. Highlighted a couple there as well. A couple to Epic. I know Sunny sits on the board for Epic. And so membership fees for the year, they do based on enrollment. So I think for the services that we get, it's a very good deal. $4,210 membership fees yearly. Medicaid billing, we pay that quarterly, but they help us with Medicaid, which brings in over $200,000 a year. So always been very pleased with the Medicaid billing services up there. Then Walt Corley, network engineer, he is an expert in networks and Windows and troubleshooting. It's a purchase of his time at a base of $4,000 through Epic. I think some other counties in Epic and even outside the region purchase his time as well. If we would go above that time, we would pay additional. So if Eric or James get into a situation they need help rather than going through some expensive place out of Charleston or Harrisonburg, they can call Walt on the phone. Walt will come here as far as his hours go. So several payments there to Epic for membership fees for the year, for Medicaid billing services, and for system engineer. So membership and system engineer is a one-time per year payment. Medicaid happens several times per year based upon the billing for the quarter. Hooten Equipment, the next one, we did receive an equipment grant at Franklin Elementary School for a serving counter, cold serving counter, to expand the salad bar and some other options down there. So that was a grant.
I can see it.
$8,996.41, a grant for that.
Katie would have got it.
There we go. So the next item of 3250, Stop It Solutions. So Stop It is a program that we have utilized in the county for persons to phone in anonymous requests for incidents that have occurred, whether it be bullying or anything like that. So it's a yearly fee for the Stop It app people are able to use. IXF, we had some internal discussions about some of these software packages. We have funding in federal programs that Travis oversees, but as the large federal funding goes away, we've had internal discussions about, do we maintain all these particular software licenses? And for right now, we can, As time goes on, it comes up for renewal, we'll have to look if there's any duplication or if there's any other funding sources or if we need to keep them right now that we can. So IXL Learning is one that's a very powerful program for us, $19,005, and that's FY24, Title V grant, FY25. So some old money and new money for IXL Learning. Lance Construction, Norfolk Elementary School, dividing that classroom up. That worked out very well. I've not seen it in person, but I think that went well at North Fork. $22,346. Mon Power, I'd like to see that be a little bit less, but I know with the hot summer and summer school, it was $11,703.24. One thing I've talked to Travis and Dan about as a group, we've talked about, as we have temperature setbacks, are we heating and cooling appropriately when people aren't there? And in the summer, but you have summer cleaning, you have floors that have wax that have to cure and all that stuff. So it's a balancing act. But yes, we want to do what we can to manage our energy use in our schools. The next item, PCB, Pendleton Community Bank. This is principal and interest. A couple of years ago, we purchased two-way radios for all of our school buses. We're paying them off with a lease purchase with a low interest loan over about 4 years. This $45,015.24 is the second year's payment. Principal of around $40,000 almost, and interest just over $5,000. The next item, Randy's contracting services. We do weed spraying at all locations because with schools and students, you have to be very particular about what you can spray, where you can spray it. So Randy's contracting has been used for a number of years. Renaissance Learning, EduClimber, we've been using Renaissance for a number of years for EduClimber and those like, that's $12,000 for that program. Then Renaissance Learning with a lot of the other programs that are used to help with assessments at different times of the year, a subscription, $36,875.82. So again, that's being paid with a couple different grants that Travis is working with, and some Step 7 money out of the county state funding for instruction. But it's a combination. So that's an example of several of these software packages that we continue to look at. And as we go forward year to year, what can we do and which ones do we need to have, which ones are working the best for us in the schools. Weaver's Flooring America, FES, we talked about some of the flooring down there. Travis has mentioned just over $6,000 for Weaver's. Mountaineer Challenge, I think we had a student this year that graduated from Mountaineer Challenge, a resident of the county. We pay every semester just over $3,800. So the fall we had $3,800. In the spring here, at the end of June into July, $3,800 for Mountaineer Challenge. That's all that I have as far as items to point out. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer. So no super large individual bills, but in total for the month, $352,631.78.
You have my recommendation for approval of the payment of the bills for July 2024.
Our superintendent's recommending we pay the July bills of $352,631.78. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any questions? All in favor of paying the July bills, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes.
Again, nothing under Treasurer's report. Wrapping up some year-end numbers. Everything looks fine. Budget revisions, nothing for tonight. Moving down to item F, financial update. Again, things appear solid at the moment. We'll have some more reports as we work through year-end into August and September and do official reports. I'll have some reporting for you, data to share with you as board members about the year-end that ended June 30th of 2024, but that's all that I have under finance for today.
Thank you, JP. Any questions for JP? Good enough. We'll move to facilities and the facilities update.
Okay, I'll start out with the bus garage. We Browns worked with Browns Paving again, and they were able to complete phase 1 of our paving job out there at the bus garage last week. It looks really good. So we were kind of glad to get that done because we were having a lot of breakup in that pavement and some dips and stuff like that. So we were able to get that taken care of. Another project we had going on here in the month of July was the soffit repair at Brandywine, right on the front of the school, into the School of Excellence signs. They finished that up as well, put new guttering up, and that was mainly just trying to keep birds and other things like that from flying up underneath and getting underneath the roof of the school. The other thing that we were working on was over here on the corner of our building here, we got hit by a truck twice. And so the same company that worked at Brandywine actually came over and worked over here as well. And so instead of coming out there with a 90-degree angle, we angled that off to take that sharp corner off. And we'll see if that helps us out some and we don't get caught there with box trucks again. Probably the biggest thing was the alt ed building. We've been talking about that for a long time. And basically we had a week scheduled that we were going to have both pieces moved. We were going to have a crane here and the building was going to be put together. And so luckily all those things kind of came together. And so the first part of the building arrived on Monday. Second part arrived on Tuesday morning. About 8:45 on Wednesday, the crane came and they brought a big crane this time so they didn't have to move it around so many times. About 2:30 or so in the afternoon, that crane was out of there. And so we had it sitting together. And the guys from the correctional center, they worked hard for a couple days trying to get the roof matched up and getting the building squared up and getting it level. But they did a really nice job getting everything to come together with that. So since they left out, we have, in the other side of that building has now heating and air with a mini split, which we had ordered initially back in the fall, and Josh installed this week, and we got the guttering on it. So our next two things that we need to get accomplished is get the skirting around the bottom. So I'm getting an estimate on that and get the ramp built into it. And ASAP, as JP mentioned there earlier, they will be up doing some wiring and different things like that to configure that building like the rest of the school. Make sure we have fire alarms and all the communication. We do have to reconnect our fiber from the building over to that building and connect it on the phone pole. So that's kind of another project we got to get accomplished as well. So we'll be working on that over the next the next little while. I mean, we're kind of hoping that maybe by November we can be in there. If everything comes together, that's kind of our plan, is to try to shoot for that and get everything moved out of the building back out to that building. So anyway, that's all I have for facilities, unless y'all have questions.
Any questions? Congratulations on that alt ed building. A new kind of way to do it. A lot of moving parts, challenges you didn't expect,
Yes.
but it all came together. It's
Yes.
coming together.
It's coming together. And it is going to be a really nice place for those teachers and those students.
It's a
Really is.
well-built building. Travis and I saw it after that day. It's well-built.
Yeah, they did a really nice job, and I don't know if you could even tell that it wasn't built on site. It was just that they did a really nice job.
It's probably overbuilt.
It is. I'd imagine you're right.
Yeah.
It's overbuilt.
Would the folks at Huttonville benefit if we sent them a letter?
Oh, I'm sure that they would appreciate a letter back, and they may be able to post that out with the people that worked on the building in there, something like that. A thank you card or something.
I
I'm
think
sure
it'd be
they
very
would appreciate that.
appropriate if we did that.
Good idea.
Any more questions, anything? Thank you. I guess that finishes it up on facilities, and there's nothing under advanced construction
No, sir.
planning. So then we move through no old business, and the new business is the administrative flow chart.
An administrative flow chart we just present each year, so you can see from the county level the evaluations. If you pull it back out a little bit, JP, it goes down from me to Mrs. Stingo, and then hers are green underneath, and it shows under the Director of Curriculum Instruction what evaluations he does, and then the ones that Carrie do also. So if you have any questions on that, if not, I would recommend you approve it. Administrative flow chart for 24-25 school year.
Our superintendent's recommended we approve the administrative flow chart. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the 2024-2025 administrative flow chart, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes.
If you'll notice, I've been around so long, I don't even need a last name.
You know, I missed that.
Just like Cher, no last name, it's JP.
Across the state. They all know who you are.
Possibly.
JP, if you can come up and hook me up, we'll start the One of the things in West Virginia's board policy 2322 on local school improvement councils is that all the principals and all county boards of education have to receive training on LSICs, local school improvement councils. And it's just a little video. Yeah. There we go. Gotta get the sound.
Hello, my name is Amy Martin. I'm a coordinator at the West Virginia Department of Education in the Office of Accountability. Today's training will be on local school improvement councils, also known as LSICs. As a result of the passage of Senate Bill 172, Policy 2322 has changed regarding LSICs. For Policy 2322, this rule requires training of County Board of Education members and the development and operation of LSICs in West Virginia public schools. This training meets the statutory requirement for principals, county boards, and others deemed appropriate regarding the role and governance of LSICs. LSICs help develop and promote the schools and county's vision for excellence, encourage involvement from all stakeholders, and represent the voice of the community. Voting membership of the LSIC consists of the principal, 3 teachers that are elected by the faculty senate of the school, 2 service personnel that are elected by other service personnel at that school, 1 of whom may be a bus driver. Other voting members are 3 parents, guardians, or custodians that have a student enrolled at that school and can be elected by other parents, guardians, or custodians in a manner determined by the principal. Parents may not be employed at that school in any capacity. The 3 at-large members are appointed by the principal. At least 1 must reside in the school's attendance area and 1 who represents business or industry. The at-large members are not eligible for membership under any of the elected classes of members. For CTE schools and comprehensive middle and high schools, 4 additional members are appointed by the principal or CTE director. For students in grades 7 or higher, the student body president can be a member or another student in grade 7 or higher elected by the student body in those grades. Parents, guardians, or custodians, teachers, and service personnel all serve 2-year terms. All other members serve a 1-year term. Elections, parents, guardians, or custodians, as well as teachers, shall be arranged so that no more than 2 are elected each year. Elections for service personnel shall be arranged so that no more than 1 is elected each year. Causes for replacing a council member are failure to appear at 3 consecutive meetings, death, resignation, or changes in personal circumstances. If there is a vacancy on the LSIC, filling that vacancy would depend on if they were an elected or appointed member. Filling a vacancy of an elected member, the chair of the council shall appoint another person. An appointed member vacancy is appointed by the principal. The chair is elected by the members. They serve a 1-year term. They are responsible for setting agendas and notifying each member 5 days in advance of meetings. If the chair's position becomes vacant, the principal calls a meeting to elect another chair. The principal shall not serve as the chair of an LSIC. General operational procedures involve the county superintendent monitoring principals to ensure all LSIC meetings occur as outlined in Policy 2322. All meetings must be open and announced to the public in compliance with the provisions of the Open Governmental Proceedings Act. LSICs shall ensure that minutes are taken at every meeting and made available to the public on the school's website and upon written request made to the school's principal or council chair. Each LSIC may adopt a set of bylaws that are consistent with state and local policy and West Virginia code. The West Virginia Department of Education provides resources and technical assistance for conducting effective LSIC meetings. There are meetings that are required each year. The principal shall arrange for the election of members to be held prior to September 15th. The principal will convene an organizational meeting where a chair and 2 members to assist the chair are elected no later than October 1st. A stakeholder meeting will take place during the school year, reporting to the county board and West Virginia Department of Education. The report must be posted on the school and county websites. The county board must meet at least annually with the LSIC of each low-performing school. The minutes must be forwarded to the West Virginia Department of Education by September 1st of the following school year. All other LSIC meetings will be at least every 9 weeks or equivalent grading period. Meeting minutes shall be posted on the school's website. Other LSIC activities consist of proposing alternatives and promoting innovation, requesting a waiver of rules and policies of county and state boards, appealing to the Legislative Oversight Commission on Education Accountability, and receiving School of Excellence and competitive grant awards. For additional information, questions, or concerns, feel free to contact me by phone or email. You can also visit the West Virginia Department of Education website for additional LSIC resources. I appreciate your participation in this training and wish all of you a successful and safe school year. Thank you.
P, if you're coming. So the major changes with the LSIC was following the same guidance that we do as far as posting their agendas out those 3 days prior and making sure they post the minutes out to the website. And the stakeholder meeting is also something new, and that's just where people have an opportunity to come in at that meeting and talk about concerns or successes they have with the school. And again, that has to be posted out, that has to be sent to the Department of Ed. The only requirement that they have to meet with the board is if they're a low-performing school, and we'll continue to meet with all of our schools, and none of our schools are low-performing, but we have always met every year annually with our LSICs, and we'll continue to do that.
Any questions on any of this? Then we'll say we've completed our training and we'll move into student transfers.
All right, I have 10 student in-county transfer requests for you. They're numbers 1 through 9 and number 12. Numbers 10 and 11 had submitted their paperwork, but the parent withdrew the request, so that's why they're numbered a little funny. 2 of them were from Franklin to North Fork, and then 4 were from Franklin to Brandywine, and 4 from Brandywine to Franklin. So I'm asking for your approval for those transfers.
You have my recommendation to approve the inter-county transfers for school year 24-25.
Our superintendent's recommending we approve the inter-county transfers for 24-25 school year. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions?
Yes, the 4 from Brandywine and Franklin did not upset the class size or anything. Okay.
No, I double checked that the class sizes allow for them to come in
Okay.
before I recommend approval.
Thank you.
Anything else? Then all in favor of approving student transfers number 1 through 9 and 12, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. That motion passes. An MOU.
All right. We have developed an MOU with the Hamilton County Emergency Rescue Squad to help offset some of their costs that they are facing. They have been volunteering for a long time at our high school football games. We worked out some things last year and we'd like to continue to do that, and this is just an MOU for them to provide services It basically provides them a stipend of $250 per game for the first rescue squad, and another $250 per game if they have to we have to request a second ambulance. So if we had to transport students or transport someone from the field, or even, from the audience, then we would be required to have that second ambulance. We have to have an ambulance there in order for us to play football games. So I recommend that we approve this memorandum of understanding between us and the Pelton County Emergency Rescue Squad.
Our superintendent's recommending approval of this MOU. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? Then all in favor of approving the memorandum of understanding with Pendleton County Emergency Rescue, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. Tiny Tots lease.
Item E, Tiny Tots lease renewal. It does go fiscal year. This obviously is retroactive back to the fiscal year. It's the same terms and conditions as was in the prior year. So Tiny Tots, which does obviously reside in a portion of this building. It is the same language that's in there from the prior year. Last year we did update the rental amount to $1,500 per month, $1,500 per month, because the water meter, there was issues of separating that out, and we took the average water bill for the year for them and just increased the rent to them to $1,500 a month, or $18,000 per year. That is the amount they pay for that up front. So this is to renew the lease, as it says here, July 1, 2024 through June 30 of 2025. Everything else is the same. I know last year we had some things, they had to vacate some areas that they were located in. I think everything has been satisfactory there in maintenance and repair. And it is some work for our personnel, obviously, to continue to maintain that if there's heating or cooling issues. But we are the owner of the building, and this is all spelled out in that agreement. And so that's a request to renew that for another fiscal year, $1,500 per month. With Tiny Tots Daycare.
You have my recommendation to approve the Tiny Tots lease agreement renewal.
Our superintendent's recommending that we approve the lease renewal with Tiny Tots. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion or any questions? And all those in favor of approving this fiscal year Tiny Tots lease agreement, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. That finishes us up under new business, and we move down to school improvement, student achievement.
Okay, we're in kind of the mode of getting prepared for opening next Friday. On my end, I've been working with getting books and materials out to schools. We have probably 3/4 of what we need. We still have a few things that are out there that will be coming in, and I'll get those out to the schools as well. The past 2 days, we've had new staff in this room here working on orientation. We have some more meetings tomorrow with them. They've been working with their mentors, just getting lots of good professional development so they're prepared to go into the classroom and get started. Forgetting anything else, Mr. Edrick, can you think of anything else that's going on?
Carrie has a couple of things.
Hey, Carrie.
We did new student registration the last 2 days too. We had 31 new students register with us. There's a few more who couldn't make it the last 2 days, so they'll be sending in their paperwork, but we're up 31. We have also applied for 3 grants over the summer and have been awarded all 3. One was for speech, for materials or professional development, or testing, materials for speech services, and so we were awarded $8,000 for that. There was a preschool inclusion grant, something to work on helping students with special needs have a more inclusive experience, and that was $1,000. And then our Guidepost to Graduation grant that we've received the last couple of years, which helps our students at the high school with transition services. Miss Dolly Rexrod has been working with them doing a career exploration program. We received that grant for $33,000, $277.50. So we're really excited in the special ed world and preschool world for, having some extra funds to be able to do some things that we haven't done before.
Are these people like 31 new registrants? Did
They were
move?
not our students last year.
They weren't. And they're not just preschool, they're
No,
like a mix.
It was pre-K through, we didn't have any seniors, but we had 11th grade, so pre-K through 11th.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
exciting.
Anything else, Carrie? Your handout, you wanna?
Oh, I did give you guys each a calendar. It was just, I actually saw another county do something similar, and I thought it would be a good idea for us to post something out with our school calendar on it. It's something that we were giving out to all of our new registrations the last couple of days, but gives sort of an overview of what's going on in the school year this year.
Thank you.
You put this on the website too?
Yes, it may be there.
I think it was floating around Facebook too.
Good. Anything else? Any questions or anything else? Okay, so I think we're done with school improvement student achievement, and we move to superintendent's update.
Well, the first big update is our breakfast starts Monday morning, and you need to be there at 5:30 a.m. Did you see the look on Mrs. Stingo's face?
I'll be there.
I didn't see that, but I heard somebody over here at the end.
And
Wow.
I wasn't
gonna run.
students will be back on August the 16th after we finish up our professional development and our back to school, getting ready activities. That's it.
As a board member, I'm obviously not as involved, but it seems like an awful short summer.
It does.
Yes.
Everyone's saying that, even people who don't have any kids in the school system at all.
But it was hot.
Okay, that completes the superintendent's update unless there's questions for him. Or protests about 5:30 in the morning.
It's too early. I'm just rolling over at that point.
Don't give Katie anything with a knife then, or she's.
No. I'm getting used to sleeping in.
How about a conference and meeting update?
I have no conference or meetings between now and our next board meeting.
Okay, then our next board meeting will be Tuesday, August the 20th, here at this building at 5:30, and I will accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?